Let's talk about this second column, the group who owns the file or the directory. As with the user, the group is assigned when the file or the directory is created. But where do the group comes from? Because remember, a user has a unique identificator, a unique ID, a unique name. So when a user creates a file, we can identify the user to assign it to this column, the first column. But remember that a user can belong to many groups. So in this case, when the file or the directory is created, it will be assigned to the primary group of the user. We can use this command ID, and here we can see that this is the unique user identification. Those are all the groups that this user belongs to, and this part here is the group ID of this user. So when I create the file, then it will be created with this group. So remember, this group has the same name as the user, but are different concepts. Here we can assign only groups, and here only users. Okay, as with the user, here the owner of a file can change the group. You can't change the user who owns the file, but you can change the group. You can change the group to one of the groups you belong. So for example, I will remove all files for simplicity. Okay. And I will create a new file here. I can change the group of this file to one of the groups I belong to. So for example, I will be able to change the group of this file for example, to ADM group here. So I will this with ch here p command, ADM, and the name of the file or the directory. So here, note that I don't need to use the sudo command, because I can run this command as my user without special permissions, because I'm changing the permissions to our group that I belong to. So here you can see that now this file belongs to one of my groups. If I want to change the group of a file to a different group, a group that it's not one of my groups, I can do that, but with the sudo command. Only root can do that. So for example, if I try to do that, I won't be allowed. I will need to run this with super user permissions. Yeah. Okay, I will need super user permissions to do that. There is another way of creating the file. I've said that when a file is created, it was created with the primary group of the user. But there is a command where that I can use for running a command as one of my groups. This is the sg command. So sg, okay, let's print here first this. With sg, sorry, I can run a command with or using one of my groups. So for example, the ADM group. If I do that, okay, it's the group first. Okay, now this command has been executed using this as a primary group. So when I created the file, it has been created with one of my groups. This is not used very much, but it's useful for you to know that. And there is another way of changing the group is with ch with chown command. You can specify the user So for example, Elmo and the group. I can use whatever group, for example, read and the name of the file. So this command will change both the user and the group of that file at the same time. And in this case, I will need to use super user privileges because only super user can change the owner of a file. If I run that, okay, I can see that both here, that file belong, here it was from the owner of this file was user and ADM, and now with a single command, I changed the user and the group. Another important thing here is that I can use for both chown and change group commands, I can use the uppercase R to change permissions for a directory. So for example, if I have a directory here, and I create a file inside that directory, file inside, okay. So if I list the directory, I can see that the file inside that directory belongs to me and my primary group, but I can use, for example, using this, or maybe without that, it's here p.r, I can ADM recursive change. So here, okay, I'm changing both the group here, okay, this group belonged to, this directory belongs to user, now belongs to ADM because I've used the change group command, but also all the files and subdirectories inside that directory have changed too. So for example, here, this file who was inside that directory has changed that. So the uppercase R option is very useful when we want to change the owner or the group of a lot of files that are inside that directory.